and watch how that sheets itself off.
I just feel somewhat alone, a little sad. I feel like I need a friend.
I could be your friend, sir.
Jason!
Good to see you, my friend.
You are my friend. Welcome, man. Welcome to the party. Cool.
Well, glad to be here. Let's dive in.
Yeah. Where'd you get that jacket from? We're actually going to be running through a bit of a process, right? Being able to show you guys how to utilize some of the maintenance products and how to utilize a couple new items here from OPT that we have here on the table. So we have the new Optimum, we'll call it it's actually just called Optimum Compound, and Optimum Polish. So if you are familiar with the Hyper Twins, also known as the Hyper Compound and Hyper Polish, this is going to be very similar in terms of a formula. I mean, almost identical in terms of the newest version of those, but now in a paste version.
Correct.
We know that Optimum was one of the first sprayable compounds, and Dr. G really made that to where it was able to just be sprayed onto a pad, easy to use, even coverage every single time, and jump straight into your correction. But there's some people who are still very old school, right?
The sprayable is a part of our hyper system, so it's great for efficiency and speed. But if you're looking at smaller areas and all that, the paste is definitely an easier way to go, so you can put just the right amount of product on there and not have any overusage. So
also have the new the Hyper Shine coating over here that we could also show you a quick demo and show you what that's like, because this is arguably one of the easiest to install coatings.
It's a true SiO2 coating, and it's easy to use, and you won't mess it up.
Yeah,
that's the key. You won't mess it up. You don't have to worry and be nervous about it. You can't
mess it up. It's like it's almost impossible to mess it up. It's a very, very user-friendly coating. Behind us here, we have this. It is dusty, it is dirty. So Jason, for people who have never seen O&R diluted on camera, right? We can get some into the bucket here. Can you show us what the OptiCoat no rinse experience is?
A system like this is going to make it so you literally can do this in your garage the day after you bought your car. You're not spending 3 days doing it. You get it where you want, you seal it up, and then you enjoy it. So today's kind of demo is going to show you like using the least amount of chemicals. Of course, we have a whole line of things in between there for different purposes, but for something like this is going to be a fairly quick, easy, don't have to think too much about it, and don't have to worry about causing any issues with it too. So to start with it, we've got Optimum No Rinse, and this is the actually OptiCoat branded. It's a little different than the standard blue. This one has a little SiO2 infused, so it gives it a little extra gloss when you're wiping it off. But when it comes to putting any coatings or sealants on, the SiO2 will not interfere with that. So yes, it's a clean product to strip and remove waxes, polish, and things like that, as well as kind of your instant detailer or a light instant detailer, and it gives it that nice shine too. So the mixture ratio on this is going to be 2 ounces to 4 gallons. So we've got a arguably 5-gallon bucket here. So we're going to put approximately 2 ounces. This cap is probably about a ½ an ounce, so we'll do about 4 of those. There is no need to get a complete measuring cup out and get every spec perfect. You're looking for a dilution ratio of 256 to 1, so 4 ounces or 2 ounces to 4 gallons makes that happen. So then we're gonna get that and just mix it up. Another thing about your water is that there was a grit guard down in there, and that's important because with how no rinse works, it actually encapsulates the dirt, and I'll show that. And what it does is when we rinse that sponge out in here, that actually will drop it to the bottom. So that dirt is literally gonna be sitting at the bottom, so you're not reintroducing that into your sponge every time.
100%. So this is going to be the Ultra Safe sponge here that we have at the Rag Company. This is a great sponge for all rinseless washing and even soap and water washing. And again, what we like about this is just extremely, extremely soft. It's safe on all surfaces. And when paired with your favorite rinseless wash, it truly is like so much bang for the buck. So show us what we do here.
So we talked about encapsulating and things like that. So you'll hear people say O&R and they'll say it really fast, and that stands for Optimum No Rinse, literally explaining how it works. And the process behind that is a vehicle like this, it has not been off-roaded, it's not been mudded and things like that. We don't need a pressure washer or a hose to get started with it. So we put our mixture in at 256 to 1. So I'm gonna get the sponge in here. I'm gonna remove about 50% of the no rinse in there. Shouldn't really be dripping, but I do want to have some of the product on there. So when I'm applying this is a newer technology, okay? This is not a sponge and bucket water system where you go in and scrub it. That's not how this process works. What you're actually doing is you're applying it, kind of like a Mr. Miyagi and Paint the Fence, right? So I'm putting it on there, not a lot of pressure, but I'm using it to kind of coat it, right? Almost like I'm painting the fence.
Totally.
Long strips like this, and I can turn that as I'm working it. So what we're doing is we're letting that chemical sit on there. The dirt is actually starting to encapsulate into those little molecules of water. So it's pulling it off. The difference between using something that encapsulates as opposed to like a surfactant is a surfactant more or less breaks the dirt down and so that you can wring it out. The problem with that sometimes is that you'll take dirt that's in this area and you'll end up dragging it over to here as it breaks down and gets smaller and smaller. This is actually a system that's supposed to take that dirt and kind of pop it off the paint so that I can come back with a drying towel. And again, I'm not scrubbing it, I'm just lightly removing the no rinse and picking up the dirt with me.
Totally.
And it's simple as that. Now you've got a clean panel and you're ready to go into your next steps. So that being said, and in an environment like this, it's okay. We're not drying the vehicle right away. It's not gonna dry on its own. It's not sitting out in the sun. So we can work that whole section. And we do wanna let it dwell. And when I say dwell, I mean literally let it sit for a little bit and let it do its thing.
Yep, totally. So that's really, I just applied no rinse, literally no pressure. And for anybody curious on how much liquid is left here in the sponge, so you know that I was actually applying liquid.
You got about the 25% that we didn't use.
There was a decent amount still left in there, and look how much is still actually on the hood. So what's great about just rinseless washing in general is that water doesn't necessarily even have to hit the floor. The whole process can be done inside your garage with maybe a couple drips here and there, and your paint will be clean. You could knock out a wash in 15 minutes, right? And you could be done.
And after we do some kind of protectant product and all that, the next time you come to do a quick hand wash in your garage, it cuts the time in half.
Cuts the time in half.
The hydrophobic will be there. And when you put some kind of protectant or coating, it helps keep the dirt from attaching in the first place. So you have less dirt in general to remove.
Knocking this out, you can tell this is a rental car. I mean, it's been ran through a car wash so many times. There's a massive lack of clarity here. Feeling the surface here, even after cleaning it, we can feel that contamination. It feels like a little bit of tree sap is on the surface. And then we also have some bug etchings and bird droppings on here, along with a ton of hard water. So once we get to some polishing, right, we'll do a nice little split if we want to show you guys. It's gonna turn out awesome. It's gonna look really, really good.
The next product that we're actually gonna use is gonna be our OptiCoat Ferrex. And Ferrex is an iron remover. It's not something that you have to use on every single wash, but it's a decon product. So for instance, this car had been through, like you said, 100 car washes, but nobody probably put any love on it. They didn't actually decon it. They just rinsed off what was there and said, look, it's shiny again.
Yeah, the brushes did whatever work they could. Jason, you can kind of see what we're working with here. This is looking pretty rough.
That is a car wash and somebody wiping off a wet car with a dry towel probably in the parking garage is what I would...
Totally. But I mean, we have just a massive lack of clarity in general from the clear, and that's what I'm looking at the most. If you kind of look past these wet spots here, you can see that what's happened here is just with the contamination on here, going through heat and cold cycles, I mean, it's just basically building up and hazing more and more and more. I actually have a pretty good bird etching right here that you guys can see. If you can pick that up on camera, there we go. So there is, yeah, you guys can see that. It's pretty bad, not great. So, and this is a pretty new car. We'll be able to really make this look a heck of a lot better here in no time. So back to decontamination, sorry, so Ferrex.
So Ferrex is our iron remover. This is the stuff, yes, that smells. Okay, it has that sulfur smell. When this is being produced in the shop, at Opti, we can tell. You walk in the morning and it's got a very strong scent. The key to that though also is it works really well. So this being a black car, I'm not sure it's going to show the flashing or the changing to a color purple like a white car would show very obviously, but we can be pretty sure that this has a lot of iron on it. So we've cleaned the vehicle off and I'm simply going to mist the iron remover, and it's safe for all the paint, the plastics, the glass. Works really good on rims too. So if you've got a set of rims, a lot of brake dust, things like that, this will do great to start stripping that off. One of the keys too on a black car, and we talked a lot about at TRC, soft paints, things like that. So today we're trying to be efficient, and I want to touch the car the least amount of times as possible. So we're going to skip a few steps like wiping off because it's just unneeded. You've got more dirty towels and more time involved, and it's not necessarily when you're going to do a process such as this. So we've got our Ferrex on there. I'm going to put a little bit of no rinse on my applicator here so it doesn't stick. All right, and I'm not sure if you can be able to hear this. Yes, you can.
Oh yeah,
okay.
So
I'm running this across.
Lean in, yeah.
Come on in, and you should be able to hear this pretty clear. Let's see if I can put my microphone there.
Oh, it's horrible,
That's pretty
Jason.
bad. I wouldn't have guessed that just by looking at it. So
that is haunting. Yeah, that
and
is.
as I work this area here, I'm working this area a little bit, and it's getting quieter and quieter as we go. If you're using a Ferrex or a heavy-duty cleaner and all that, I usually do recommend a separate bucket so you're not contaminating that bucket if you want to come back to it. But for today's purposes, we've already cleaned the whole car, so this bucket can be reused. So I'm just kind of wringing out my my clay bar here.
Yep.
You will notice as it dries a little bit, you'll see it get a little white. And that's okay. It's not going to stain the paint. If this was out in the sun and you left an area on it, you could be able to remove it. It's not going to stain it. So I wouldn't leave it on there all day long in the sun, but if you find a spot, you can easily repair it. Don't worry too much about it. And so what I'm doing is I'm just feeling, as we were talking and doing this, I want to make sure I hit all the areas. Yeah. And you can feel it. I mean, I'd be able to tell if I missed a little section up here. For instance, right there, I can tell where that's at. And ultimately, it should get pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little agitation sound, but that scraping sound is
The scraping sound is going away.
which means we have removed our iron. And that's going to be a very important step when it comes to our final process, because if you don't remove those irons that are in here, when you go to do your polishing and all that, you're going to miss that last high gloss shot because you'll only be able to bring it up so much. This is actually removing kind of, on a white car, you can see the little gold flakes sometimes. It looks like little rust spots and all that, and that'll drain purple. This is changing to purple, but on the black car, you're just not seeing it. So, and that's about it, and we're just gonna rinse that off. Like he said, we can go ahead and use a no rinse system if we want. For today, we're just gonna rinse this off so we have a nice clean panel. Right now, decontaminated, you can see that there is no beading, there's no really hydrophobic, minus the pressure from the water. So it's all sheeted on there. That's what keeps the car looking dirty day to day. When we put a treatment on it, that's what's gonna keep the vehicle to actually start shedding the water and being hydrophobic. And the difference between beading and hydrophobic, beading is going to put the molecules obviously in little beads, but we prefer to go with a hydrophobic method because that will actually sheath the water and the contaminants off instead of just leaving them there. Anytime you leave a mineral or dust on a spot of the car, it's going to make a spot. There's no way to stop that. You can easily remove it, but by doing a hydrophobic system where the water will actually sheet off there, you're removing those contaminants so you don't have to worry about them in the first place.
I'm really excited because now from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna grab that 27 mil and we're gonna go and knock out this hood. What I do wanna do is just dry off this area before I jump in with my compound and show Jimmy, just check this out, Jimmy. We have some gouges up here on the paint. I don't know if that's, if you can see. So those are actual just scratches right there in the clear. Those things are pretty rough. And then coming down here, we also have our bird etching up here as well, which is pretty gnarly. So we're gonna grab the compound with the wool pad here.
So you've got 1,500, 2,000 grit sandpaper marks. A standard polish is not gonna remove that without additional work. So we want something that's a little bit more aggressive. What's important and a little different about our compound, whether it be the hyper spray or the paste style here from Optimum, is that there are 0 fillers, no waxes, no silicones in there, so it's not leaving anything behind. He's taking a wool pad here and actually doing a full cut. The compound does have diminishing properties, so you can actually use this compound, probably not with a wool pad, but with a medium pad and compound and finish off and polish in one step. You don't have to switch pads. You don't necessarily have to remove the prior material if you're doing a 2-step. But if you're doing the 1-step, you can do the compound. You would just come back with a little less pressure after you've actually removed the scratches, and that'll actually help finish it out. On most cars, you can do that. A black car, some of the softer paints that have to be compounded, probably not gonna get away with the 1-step. But most of the newer bright colored cars, reds, whites, greens, things like that, you can definitely use the compound not only to cut, but to finish off too.
Totally. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna do this Anthony's way, okay. Right? I'm gonna go to town actually, and because I really want people to see this worked in and do it justice. I know that oftentimes Optimum's always like, yeah, just run the machine over and just call it good there. I don't want to call it good. I want to show that this is competitive and that this can absolutely cut with the best of them. So
it's not just a finishing compound.
I'm gonna do this side. I'm actually gonna do it. And I'm gonna be running this at about a speed of 5 here.
And while he's doing that, to talk a little bit about efficiency, when you're using a compound or polish that does not have waxes or any kind of fillers, you don't necessarily have to remove it before going on to the next step. I don't have to come back and compound the car, remove all the compound before I polish. I can actually start my polishing process right on top of that compound. Because the compound's got a slight diminishing agent too, by going into the polish, that compound is being broken down and kind of turned into a polish anyways. You have a very consistent area of paint that you're correcting.
Okay, all right, so that's pretty much where I would stop there with my compounding. I mean, again, I can keep running it, and at that point too, if I ever have any dry areas, I would just simply re-wet it and then continue running it. But we'll go ahead and call that good there.
I will remove a little bit here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for camera shots, so they can kind of see that it's
extremely easy to remove.
That it's corrected it. And we are doing a two-step, so we're not looking for that to be finished. What we're looking for that is the Mari marks to be gone, the consistency to be there, so we can polish that out.
Totally, yeah. So let's actually just take a look at what we're working with here. So let's grab that quick scan grip just to show you. So right now we have just from the wool itself, right, on soft clear, you can see that we have a little bit of micro marring or hazing just from the pad combo. And that's totally normal. That's what we're expecting here on soft black Honda paint. But then what we're gonna do is actually finish this out. So we're gonna switch to a different foam pad, jump to our polish, and then finish out the rest of this in one go. And we'll take a look from there. If we need to go to a lighter pad, we can go to a lighter pad. But what's nice is that the Optimum system, literally, I mean, it's a pad dependent cut. So depending on how much cut you're looking for, you just basically change up your pad. You keep the two products the same. Don't overcomplicate it. Cool, happy with that.
Oh, Anthony, that looks pretty.
Does it look better?
Oh yeah, buddy.
I think so, back and forth. And I'm trying to get you guys in on some of the gnarly stuff over here. There we go. And then a lot of that clarity really just kind of transforms over on that side. So super, super awesome. So I'm just gonna polish the trim and show you that this is not going to gloss out the trim. It's not going to stain it. It's not gonna hurt it.
I was talking about, my wife got a new Outback and it's got all the black trim on it. It was kind of white and oxidized. I simply took polish and went right to it and cleaned it all up.
Yeah, and there is no issues.
And I don't need any chemical to remove that polish from the plastic. It doesn't need any kind of paint prep or anything like that.
We are ready, Jason, for what's our next step? What are we doing?
So we've got a polished vehicle. It's clean, it's smooth. So we now need to put something on there so we can maintain it easier and make it look like this over and over and over again. And when we do go to wash it, it'll be a lot faster and it'll come back like this without having to compound and polish. So we've got two options. When we go back into our OptiCoat line, again, which is our maintenance line, these are specifically designed for ceramic coated or protected vehicles. Now it works great on your standard cars, but it is formulated with less cleaning agents, things like that, to make it clean and really give it a shine. So the two products we're gonna talk about for finishing today is the Hyper Seal, okay, and the Hyper Shine. So this is gonna be a spray SiO2 sealant, and this would be considered an SiO2 actual ceramic coating that you can buy and do at home. And the nice thing about this is you're not gonna mess anything up.
Yeah.
This is gonna go on our trim, it's gonna go on the paint, it can go on the plastics, it can go on the glass. If you hit some, you can just wipe it off or go ahead and apply it to the glass, either way. So it comes in a syringe, and the reason that's important is because it hasn't been introduced to any air yet, so it hasn't chemically changed. What's that mean to our detailer? It means I can work way larger areas. So in the past, we were all very used to working like a 1 foot or 2 foot section, then come back and level that off. With this product, you do not have to do this. In this garage, I could probably do this whole car and not have to level it and then come back and do it. Today, we're just doing a hood, so I'll show the process, but it's pretty simple. People always ask me, how many drops you're put on there? We say about 40 to 50, but what you're doing is just trying to evenly put some of this on the pad.
Don't get greedy and try to just press it down, because what will happen is you might be wearing the coating. How do I know that? Because it's happened to me.
When I'm doing demos, I don't tend to put the tip on just because we're talking. And if I'm talking to you guys and I'm not paying attention and I push that and don't realize put the pressure, it'll have a little boy peeing, right on the car. So now I've got the chemical actually here on my pad, like that. And so I can tell by feel. A lot of this can be done by feel, so I don't have to have a garage that has fully lights and things like that. As long as I check a section, know what I'm doing, and repeat that process, I don't have to have crazy lights to do that. At first, it's gonna have a little squeaky, like that. As I work it, it's a little quieter. So if I was to close my eyes and start working this car, I could tell that I'm in this area. You can hear it squeaking as I'm applying it to the newer areas that I haven't applied it to.
We'll actually be able to kind of showcase little bit there of that. Kind of, there you go, the wetness,
As
you can kind of see
the
that.
chemical's on there, I start losing that squeak because it's actually traveling. So how do I apply this correctly? This is how I'm going to tell you to do it. You do want to put a little pressure on here because you want to push this chemical down. So I like on a different way when you do sanding, you don't want to use your fingers like that because you end up putting too much pressure, right? Sure. But that's okay on this because I'm actually going to push that in and work a nice area, okay? Then I can tell that I've got some high spots. That's just natural from, being a human being that I've pushed down a little harder. So what I'll do just to finish it is come back real light, like that. And just what I'm doing is trying to pick up any extra material that I didn't need, because what it does is it actually adheres to the clear coat, and anything that's left on top that still has a rainbow effect to it, that doesn't flash out, that's just extra material sitting on top. I'm simply going to remove that.
Yep, that's just the
so,
excess salt.
as you can see, when we say flashing, that's the chemical releasing. So if you can see in that camera.
Oh yeah,
you can, okay.
Yeah, you definitely can.
And I blow on it. I'm speeding up that process so you guys can see it. When this is about 70 to 80% of this is gone, then I will level it. So it's not a 60-second or a 2-minute count or anything like that. You're actually letting it flash out because that flashing is it's adhering to the paint. Yep. So I can continue working a large area and not have to worry about doing any kind of leveling. I'm not concerned about if it hardens up or if I left too much on there, because again, it's in the syringe and it hasn't had any reaction till it comes out. Yep. The working time is way better. You've got some that are introduced to air, and that's okay, but once you go to apply it, you need to level it very quickly. Otherwise it will become the old horror stories of I had to sand out a spot. And as I'm going, how much do I put on there? Again, feel and sound is a key indicator, because if I start getting into this area and I start getting squeaky again, really squeaky, I need a little bit more material. So I put a couple more drops on there and work it. See, I got quiet because I've got the material on there, and I can keep working that. If I keep working that same section and it starts flashing and in there, ultimately it'll get loud again because it's adhering back down there, and that's setting up the ceramic coat to give it the shine and the hydrophobic effect. Because there's those fillers and things like that, I don't need to use the paint prep because I don't need to strip anything off. I've got a clean panel ready to go. In my standard operating procedures, yes, I will put on there paint prep the panel, but if I'm going right from washing, polishing to coating, no contaminants have landed on this vehicle. But if I left to lunch for a couple hours, the air conditioning kicked on, all that, I might just want to wipe it down before I go put my coating on, or if it was the next day, something like that. No rinse works fine for that too, but the paint prep will actually get any oils or stuff like that. When we talk about pressure, people are wiping it off. I mean, we're at 2-finger pressure. I am barely just enough to grip this and drag it so it doesn't fall down. That's the only pressure I'm using. It literally does not drag. It's not super sticky. I'm just using 2 fingers like that. And you could tell when I tossed that to you, the microfiber already slid across the car.
It's so slick right now. And yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's better to let it completely flash. I mean, which is completely the opposite, right? People want to wipe it while there's still some solvent, so it adds some slickness to and aid in wiping with other coatings. This is like, well, just let it, just kind of let it do its thing, and then just come back over it and wipe around it. We have now coated this. We've washed it. We've polished it. We've clayed it. Do we need to do anything else?
So that would be done. Now, as a second choice, let's say we weren't going to ceramic coat this and we wanted to do something a little quicker and simpler. That would be the Hyper Seal. That you spray that on. I'm going to show you. But we'll spray that on, and it's going to flash out by itself, just like the Shine did. You can use that directly onto the car after we clean it. You don't have to polish the vehicle out. And when the vehicle's still wet, you can use this. You spray that on the wet vehicle and then dry the car off. You've protected it, you've dried the vehicle off, and it's streak-free, and it'll help soften that water if the water you're using to rinse off had any kind of chemicals in it. So we've done this with ceramic coat. Technically, I would tell you to wait about an hour, and this car is pretty much ready to go. But what I can do is actually take my Hyper Seal. Again, we're going to pretend like we waited an hour or so, and I can put that Hyper Seal directly onto the car. And if we have Jimmy Cam for a second, look and pulling in here too, with the Hyper, it does the same thing. You do not have to remove all this. So you see that flashing that I put on that sealant? I can leave this here. This will go away on its own. I do not have to come through here and be like, oh, I got to remove every speck of that, okay? I did a wipe down, and that will flash out on its own. And with that being said, I want to go ahead and apply some water on here. Okay. So we sped this process up. Obviously, normally I would wait an hour in between coatings, but for our demo, this will still show us what we're doing.
So we're doing no tip, right?
Yeah, no tip, because I was just going to show like an actual water like that, and watch how that sheets itself off. That's hydrophobic, so it's taking the dirt, dust, and things with it off the side of the vehicle. Totally. And there's always that trick that people can do when they do it, when they get a good hydrophobic, that if you get the pressure going and I pull it real light, like that, I can actually dry the vehicle off using my hose, using that surface tension you were talking about. I got a little overspray, but that's a dry panel that I dried using the hose because of that hydrophobic and that the water doesn't want to stick to it.
Totally, but I mean, if you look over here, you can see beautiful beads over here, right? Just from a splash effect. But I mean, what we're talking about when it comes to sheeting is that you can essentially use the surface tension to your best benefit here and show it rinsing itself off, which is pretty cool. And what's crazy is we literally just coated this car and then we put Hyperseal on top of it dry, and then we put Hyperseal on top of it wet. What's even crazier about that there's no massive buildup. Like, you know, I would expect this to be the streakiest mess in the entire world, and right now it just feels like I'm just drying a protected car. So that's that, people. Pretty amazing. Well, I want to give a huge shout out to Jason for coming out here. Thank you, Dr. G, for sending him out. We love hanging out with him, and so and we wish everybody well over there, and hopefully people took away some good tips from this.